Brother Jelke, welcome to the Founders Day broadcast.
Great to be here, brother.
Great. Thanks so much for taking the time. You know, Tom, first off, we'd be crazy to not go back and briefly revisit this time last year. When you kicked off our Founders Day of Giving for 2020, we could have never guessed that we would crush our goals for Founders Day in such a dramatic way, crossing the $500,000 mark and setting goals for dollars and donors in a 48-hour time frame. Tom, what do you think inspired brothers, friends, spouses, parents, higher ed professionals to be so generous last year?
Well, Matt, I think three things helped with that. Number one, I think people realized how much SigUp needed the help, and our undergraduate brothers needed the support, especially during a pandemic, and they were ready to meet the challenge and stepped up. I think number two, people believe in SigUp. I know I do, and my family does, and a lot of people that donate constantly believe in what SigUp does, and their mission of building balanced leaders for the world's communities is an important one, and people give because of that. But maybe the most important reason is I believe that people are good-hearted and they're kind, and they know that if something is worth it, that they are willing to put in time and money to support things. And I truly believe that SigUp is lucky to have so many people that have that kind heart supporting us.
Yeah, well said, Tom. A refreshing message for today. Now, Tom, although you turned over your Grand President responsibilities to our new Grand President, Billy Madelon, at our recent conclave in Denver, you played an important role in helping guide the fraternity through an unprecedented 2 years and positioning SigUp to emerge even stronger. What motivates you and Rebecca to once again give so generously this year to SigUp?
Well, I mean, like I said, we're big believers in SigUp. We believe that the world needs young men to step up and become leaders, people who lead with ethics and values. We believe in the values that SigUp teaches and in the leadership opportunities it provides. We see firsthand, just in talking to so many young men who are SigUps or who are in the undergraduate ranks or who have recently graduated, how much it impacts them. And past Grand President Chris Bittman said he believes that to change the world, you need to do it one person at a time. And the best way he saw of doing that was through the fraternity. And I agree with him. And that's why Rebecca and I give everything we can to this organization.
Well, we're very grateful for your generosity, Tom, and to Rebecca. Now, Tom, you and your chapter brothers from Florida New at Florida International are no strangers to our chapter challenges here on Founders Day. And we just gave a tote board update. You guys, of course, are leading in both challenges right now. You guys are a perennial powerhouse and always contenders for the top spot, particularly on the Dollars Raised Challenge. This year, there is a special cause that is motivating your efforts. And unfortunately, it was a recent tragedy that the Florida New family is experiencing. Tom, tell us about that and share your personal challenge with your Florida New brothers.
Sure. So we recently lost a very engaged and loved brother in Ed Ramsharan. He passed away this past week, and the tragedy, the biggest tragedy of it is that he has an unborn child on the way. Him and his wife Angelica are expecting in January. And Ed was a big believer in SigUp. He was a big believer in education, and we thought, a bunch of us got together and thought it would be a good tribute for him and a good way of supporting the family if we were to create a prepaid college fund for baby R coming up in January. So I've committed to match every dollar that we raise for FDOG twice, once again for FDOG and once for that college fund. And it's no surprise that the FIU brothers and their families and all of Ed's friends and family have come out to support that.
Wow, Tom, very generous. A double match, both for the fraternity and for for that family. That's very generous and pretty evident to see that the Florida New Brothers are already responding to your challenge. So thank you for that. Tom, like I said, you guys are always contenders for the top spot on the Dollars Raised Challenge. Now, last year you got beat by some East Tennessee State donors who were thirsty for a win and stayed up until 3 a.m. on the East Coast to ensure their victory. Can you offer any insight into how badly Florida New wants to take home this year's championship belt, Tom?
Well, we'd like to take them both, the belt and yeah, number of donors. Let's just say I'll be up at 3.
Oh, the gauntlet has been thrown down by Brother Jelke and Florida New. I'm sure our East Tennessee State brothers were listening to that. Tom, you've been generous to give us so much of your time this morning. We really appreciate it. But before I let you go, lastly, can we do a little baseball chatter? Do you think that the Atlanta Braves can finish things off in Atlanta tonight, or will the Astros stay alive and take things back to Houston?
Braves in 7.
Braves in 7. Well, the Georgia boy in me is glad to hear you call it for the Braves. Grueling and stressful to think it's going to stretch out over 7, but we thank you for your prediction. Tom, thanks very much for joining us on today's broadcast. You guys are already clearly competing in both challenges. You're being taken seriously. We're very grateful for your time and your generosity.
Have a good one. Happy Halloween, everybody.